flowers, Erica, my darling. I brought them from the main island just for you because I remember how much you love them. Their sweet smell reminds me of you, my sweet. And there'll be even more sweet things to remember when we are back together again. As sure as I stand here talking to you, it will happen soon.
Jean-Paul.
Dan, are you spying on me again?
No, just observing a man with an obsession that's going to kill him.
Your powers of perception are your weak points, Dan. I'm not going to die. Erica is going to live. You may not have any faith in the future of cryonics. I do.
Someday, perhaps, freezing a body and eventually returning it from the dead may work. But I'm an attorney, not a scientist, so I can't say. And since you're neither, surely you can't predict it.
I can predict that Erica will have every chance that science and money can offer.
I know your great devotion to your wife, but she was equally devoted to you. And the last thing she'd want is for you to drive yourself to death, trying to prolong a life that God has already claimed.
On this island, I am God.
And a fool.
Dan, any husband would be an imperfection of a man if he did not lay his life on the line to save that of the woman he married. Boil it down. If you're right, and I'm not admitting you are, all I'm saying is that I am fighting for the woman that I love. Now, I'd like to continue this dialogue elsewhere, so Erica may remain undisturbed. I love you, my sweet.
Jean-Paul, you always had a great knack for rationalization, but blending fact and fantasy won't work.
Your coffee, monsieur. The breakfast buffet is all set. If I'm no longer needed, may I be excused?
Naturally, Rascal.
And I too, Jean-Paul. There's some papers I must look to.
Look to? Or look for?
And you say I'm building intrigues. See you later.
With friends like Dan Forrest, I hesitate to face the enemy.
You serve very well in that capacity.
Except you are your own worst enemy, which makes you mine, because you and I are like one.
Oh, no. You are the demon that spreads evil before you.
And aft. Never know who might be sneaking up behind with a doll and pin to curse me. Not now. It was purely an expression. Voodoo got you, too. But your optimism about it concerns me. Lightning never strikes twice in the same place. I hope.
Look, why don't you leave me alone? Why must you continually harass me? Why must I be harassed by one who doesn't even seem to be there?
You say you're talking only to yourself. Careful. They put people away for things like that.
You're enough to drive any man out of his senses.
Monsieur Desmond?
What is it, Rexel?
To whom were you talking?
See, now she thinks the bats are flapping in your noggin.
Shut up!
Monsieur, all I said was...
I wasn't talking to you, Rexel.
Now you did it.
Not to me?
See? The little man who isn't there is. Hold still. I'll get us out of this.
Perhaps I should call Dr. Carr for something to ease your nerves.
Or perhaps you should call Dr. Carr down to breakfast, Raxel. She must be famished. As I am. Are things set?
But, monsieur, not half an hour ago I told you about the buffet.
Oh, of course, yes. Kippers and porridge and bacon.
Kippers! You haven't touched them in years.
Well, it's about time that I did. Go and fetch them. Fix them up. I'll force them down.
Yes, master.
Well, Dad, are you going to join me in some kippers this morning, or haven't you finished fishing for the day?
Just lowering the line. And I'm afraid you're going to get hooked.
Never. It would be a nasty experience, being hooked.
So is compounding a felony.
Did you break the law, Dan? Or am I on the hot seat?
It's beyond me how you can change like day and night and completely disregard the welfare of others.
Let's keep it to ourselves, shall we?
Dr. Carr asked to be excused. She's busy. But she says your tranquilizers are...
Busy? Doing what?
I don't know, monsieur. But she's in the laboratory, if that will help.
Ah, maybe she's concocting some witch's brew. Perhaps we should look in on her, eh, Dan?
Interrupt Allison in her work, and there'll be the devil to pay.
He'll get his due. Either way.
You'll get yours.
Same thing. Well, what did you mean?
Detaining people on this island against their will. The penalty will be the same. But that's not all I want to talk to you about.
There's more. Oh, come, Raxel, the kippers. Sorry, go on.
Your wife has been dead for approximately 10 days now. Who signed the death certificate?
Oh, my dear Dan, here we go again on the merry-go-round. Dr. Mencken did.
You say. But now I'm reaching for the brass ring. It's time for everybody to get off.
The island.
Exactly.
I just can't let them do it. Now, the whole situation was completely explained to me by you and Allison that if word of Erica's death became public knowledge, which as yet it has not, there would undoubtedly be an autopsy. And you know that I can't have that. Because then it would lead to Erica being taken from cryonic suspension. And that would be tantamount to murder. Now that's really compounding a felony.
I can't figure you out. Not when you're like this. You make me want to... Most of the time, I can't read you or believe a word you're saying, but it's so frustrating I could actually...
Murder me?
Yes, I do have murder on my mind, but not yours.
Oh. Whose?
Apart from your self-professed love, did you have any other reason for freezing Erica?
How can you dare to imply that of me?
Because most of the time you don't act like a man who has just suffered an agonizing loss.
Not every man should wear his heart on his sleeve. Dan? If the death certificate should have gone astray, couldn't we simply ask Allison to sign another one? She's a doctor.
Monsieur, be careful. The dish is very hot.
Hopefully, so are the kippers. We'll discuss this after breakfast. They smell vile, like all good kippers should.
My poor master.
I can't waste any sympathy on him today.
I'm waiting to be served, Raxel.
I, too, am confused with his changes of mood.
These are good. They're devilishly delicious, Dan. Hooked? Indeed, yes. But who?
You get marks for these, Jean-Paul. They are good.
You know, I haven't tasted anything so enjoyable for ages. But for my taste, things around here should be much, much hotter. So this is where you're hiding. You missed breakfast.
Well, I've just been so engrossed in Dr. Mencken's medical library that I don't think I have any room for anything other than food for thought.
Seems Dan has been doing a lot of thinking, too. At least he manages to eat.
Well, perhaps I'll have some later, but I'm just so fascinated with all this.
And you're fascinating yourself. And all this. Let's see. The effect of hypothermia on cerebral damage resulting from cardiac arrest.
Yes, look at this. W.G. Walter's Imitation of Life. What does all this suggest to you?
That you're even more attractive when you're flushed with excitement.
Jean-Paul, stop it.
Go ahead, tell me. Why do you find it fascinating?
Well, if all these books belong to you,
Well, my literary tastes usually run to something hotter, though not necessarily heavier. No, the money that I provide has bought the books. They're not necessarily mine. Why do you ask?
well, anybody interested in cryonics would be interested in these. Or was it Dr. Mencken's idea to put Erica in a cryonic capsule?
Well, it certainly wasn't mine, but I'm glad someone thought of it.
Did it come out of something that happened with her condition?
I haven't the faintest idea. I'm not a doctor. Just a man in love.
And about what you told me about her death being so sudden and unexpected.
To me, it was.
But if it was brought on by the onset of eclamptic convulsions, why Dr. his preoccupation with all this? Genetics, cellular reconstitution, and geriatrics.
Well, if he were here, we could ask him.
Shouldn't make jokes about a man who's dead.
Sorry.
You know, I've even found some notes he made on experiments in my field in organ culture and regeneration.
You mean the replacement of the human body?
Well, in a very general sense. We're just starting with all that, but Dr. Mencken.
Yes.
Well, I've searched this entire place. I found lots of projections of experiments, but no details about them. Lots of notes on failures, though. But where are the experiments and the results? I've looked everywhere. And what's more important, where is this file on Erica? I know there must be one.
Why?
Because I'm not so sure that Erica's death was sudden. Now,
Well,
think back. Are you sure there was no forewarning?
not to me. Would I lie to you?
Well, you have in the past, when you concealed my sister's death.
Well, some days I'm just not myself.
Will you answer one thing truthfully?
Well, if I can be truthful, of course.
You took a bottle of cyanide from this lab.
I did?
There's a bottle missing.
Well, if you saw me take it, but there must be a double roaming around here.
I didn't say that I saw you. I just said there was a bottle missing. It's just that well, it would put my mind at ease. It's just that, well, I was afraid.
Afraid? But what? I would take my own life? No, Alison, don't be afraid. That's one thing. That didn't come that easily.
Well, I'm relieved. Erica's death is more than I can bear.
It hasn't been easy for either of us. I may say that I have nothing to say at the moment.
Well, have you managed to talk her into that idea about signing the death certificate?
I haven't managed to talk her into anything. Although an idea did pass my mind.
How do you figure him?
I think he's either a very good actor or he's another man.
Well, they say that each of us has a double. Jean-Paul's goes back 300 years. And, according to the legend, Voodoo jinxed him.
But legends are not facts, Dan.
Neither are ghosts that are 300 years old.
Well, Dan is not one of the believers. Alison is a charmer. The plot thickens. Keep the home fires burning. I'll be there later.
You know, you're the best wheeler and dealer this side of the Great Channel. You know that?
You know, ordinarily I'd chuckle over that, Dan, but right now I'm too shook. Although, when you think of it, it's the obvious answer. The only way out.
For Jean-Paul.
Yes. And for the rest of us. And for Erica.
Erica?
Well, any other way, and she'd have to have a post-mortem. That would ruin all her chances.
Oh, come on now. Don't tell me you're falling for that cryonics fable. Or is it Jean-Paul who has you under
Dan,
his spell?
please. Now, that's enough of that.
All right. Well, when it comes to that death certificate,
Dr. Mencken did sign the death certificate. Jean-Paul told me. He only asked me to sign it to alleviate your concern about it.
All right, then. As a lawyer, I'm going to call for an adjournment.
I know. I ask for the same privilege.
But still, the mystery prevails.
Well, I can't deny that. I mean, even in this simple lab, there is more than one mystery. And I intend to find out about them. All of them.
In this lab?
In this lab, and in this house, and on Mal Jardin.
Well, if you stay, I...
Do you know, suddenly I feel hungry. Come on, join me.
What, in another breakfast? No, thank you. One's my capacity. I think if you don't mind, I'll just stay here and poke around a bit.
Come on, I'm sure there's nothing that you can find around here that'll interest you.
There's a lot that'll interest me. Some of it may confuse me, but... Well, what's one more confusion?
Too many contretemps. Too many questions. The time has come to make a definite move before the attack.